Casey, our backup singer, she was taking Taekwondo class and hit a roundhouse and broke her foot on somebody. But, yeah. But I just wanted to, you see him on stage and you know anything you want to know about me. You probably just bored to tears with me. You've heard so much about me over the years. So just want to get to know these guys a little better. This is Michael Logan Hill. When did you start with me?
I started New Year's Eve 2003.
2003.
So this is my 10-year anniversary.
Pull your skirt out.
I don't know how to handle a mic.
That's why he doesn't get one at the service. He's not a singer. He's been with me since 2003, New Year's show at the Barn Theater, right?
Right.
And so Mike is really a great guy. He's just a wonderful person. He's one of those people that's could do anything in the world for you. He's always there for me. And he's one of the first one there and the last one to leave. If I need anything, he's always there. He volunteers for stuff, and he does a great job at, of course, playing bass, but the photographs, anything you see, most of our advertisement stuff, Mike's behind that. Our Christmas poster, he's getting ready to start working on that in a couple weeks. So you'll see that. You may have saw the one that the Barn Theater put out a few weeks ago with the progression of myself through Elvis's career. Really great looking, sharp poster. Mike made that, so did a great job. But yeah. I just wanted to ask you just a few questions. First off, where are you originally from?
I am from the mountains of North Carolina up in the Asheville, Hendersonville area.
Okay.
But I've been all over. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so every 2 years we were moving. So it's always nice to go back home.
Now, were you in service?
I was in the Air Force from 68 to 75.
So when did you start playing bass?
I guess I was about 14. I joined a little garage band, and everybody was a guitar player. Nobody played bass, and so my guitar only had 4 strings. So I became the bass player.
What inspired you? So I guess my question was what inspired you to play bass? I guess you only have 4 strings.
4 strings.
Is there anybody, any bass player that was influential to you that you admired?
Not really. I guess
you just had 4 strings.
I just had 4 strings. but I have to say Elvis's bass player. You know, I copy a lot of what he does, and I can't, pick anybody better to copy than him.
Well, I will say all these guys, and just to give you some background on what we do when we prepare the show, I get a set list together in mind that I want to do. I always try to add a few new songs. You guys help me with that. You email us songs that you want to hear. And I'll just put together a set list, and I'll just email those to them. They'll get the track, and that's all they get. They don't get charts. They don't get anything like that. Most bands that I perform with, anywhere in the country, Legend in Concert, which is supposed to be the best there is, and so on and so forth, they can't play a thing unless they have a chart in their face. They just can't do it. And so these guys, they play everything by ear. They hear it, then they play it. So they're very talented. Reggie, wish he was here tonight too. He had another obligation, but keyboard player, he's just amazing in that respect. Because you got to think, Reggie, he's playing several instruments. He's got a keyboard here and another keyboard, so he's playing piano, he's playing strings, he's playing horns, all this at one time. And this is after hearing it one time on a CD. And if you've been there and heard Reggie, you know he does it exactly like what's on the record. And I'm kind of hard about that. I want it to be exactly the way Elvis done it. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it. That's why we're here. Apparently, that was the right way to do it. So that's the way we try to do it. And these guys match it note for note, stroke for stroke. Everything's right there the way it's supposed to be. So now, like I said earlier, he does photography. So how did you get into photography?
Well, I have an uncle that does nature photography, and I used to go with him and do what was called shadowing. He gave me a little bitty Kodak camera, and he would be shooting, and I would be behind him with my camera shooting, and it just led from there. And I love nature photography, and I love shooting y'all, you're so friendly, after the shows, and some people make faces, but it's great. Y'all are so nice and so easy to get along when I shoot the photos, and you're so complimentary. I just can't help but enjoy what I do.
So nothing to do with strings or anything?
No, 4 batteries. I mean, 4 is my lucky number.
Now this question I always hate. Every interview I do, whether it's television, radio, in Memphis when we're doing the big screen thing where they get right in your face and ask if you've seen it. And then just to give you some background, they come backstage and we don't get any preparation. They just start asking you questions. The camera's right here, and then the next day they've got you on this huge life-size screen with your face saying what you said the day before. And sometimes it doesn't come out very well. But anyway, this is one of the hardest questions I get that I want to ask you guys because I get asked it. What is your favorite Elvis song to play bass on?
Well, that for me is real easy. It's a Dusty Springfield song, but Elvis did it so much better, and it's "You Don't Have to Say You Love Me." I love the song, and when Stephen does it, I haven't heard anybody do it as well as Stephen does.
I got a feeling you guys may disagree. I think you might like Poke Salad a little better. Mike's the Poke Salad. He's the one that kicks off the da-da-da-da-da-da. That's his deal.
And Kelly gives me my cue, too.
Say it, Kelly. He ain't done yet. That's done. Last question for you, Michael. If you could meet Elvis today, what one question would you ask Elvis? He'd be impressed.
I'd ask him if he'd seen Stephen yet.
I know what his answer to that would be.
He would say, yes, I have, and I like him.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, Michael. Give Michael a big hand. Now, this is Mike Casano, a drummer. Give him a big hand. Now, Mike, you played off and on with me for years, probably about the same time, 2002 maybe? 2001?
I just finished Patsy.
Yeah, we were at the barn, then we went to Centennial Station, and we got some old video of us together at the Centennial Station theater when it first opened.
Yeah, this might still be on the website, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was last year.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably is. So, but Michael's played drums not only for myself, but you were in another band. What was it called?
I was in a band called Even Keel for about 7 years.
Yeah. It's a very well-known band. We're very successful. And
we had a lot of fans and friends, and we were real lucky and fortunate and blessed. We were on the road with a few people you might have heard, but yeah, we had a good time.
Where are you from originally?
Greensboro.
None of us can quite get too far from home.
No, I've been all over the world just like you. This is the best place there is.
In your family, his wife's Mona, and how many kids?
3 daughters and a granddaughter. So,
Racking them up, man.
yeah, love a girl.
So when did you start playing drums? And what inspired you?
Well, I started when I was probably 6, and I went to the parade when I was about 4. And a band called A&T Aggies, the marching band, they were in their heyday. If you ever saw them, you guys probably have.
Oh, yeah.
They moved me.
If you were anywhere near the parade, you heard them.
And I was on the front row, so. And I came home and I took Frisco can. And I took 2 wooden spoons.
Made some biscuits.
And I took some string. Now, Mama did not let me in the kitchen. Except eat. Yeah, but I had, inspired by that experience.
And you're also a big fan of Ronnie Tutt, Elvis's original drummer.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, so he's watched a lot of Ronnie, and he can do anything Ronnie can do. He can really play the drums.
We had the good fortune of being able to be on this planet at the same time. There were some really cool people.
Yeah.
You know, that's true. So,
And what would you say is your favorite Elvis song to play?
my favorite song, that's tough. I look forward to them all, but I like Elvis Gospel. Peace in the Valley is probably my favorite.
That kind of surprised me because I played with a lot of drummers too, and there's a lot of good drummers out there. But Mike can sit back.
Are you looking at my skirt?
Old gutter brain over there. But if you watched Elvis in any of his videos and how he and Ronnie worked together, and Ronnie knew what Elvis was going to do before he done it, even before Elvis even knew what he was going to do. Ronnie was right there. Well, Mike's that way. He feels what we're doing, the music. He can match me what I'm doing, and that. If you see us on stage, it's just really flows nicely. It's very easy. That's why I hate playing the tracks, because it's just you're locked into what's on the track. But he does a marvelous job of following me on stage and what I do. We do a lot of crazy stuff, and that helps with the spontaneity of the song. You know, a lot of folks wonder why you keep coming back. Hear the same song, Suspicious Minds, 3,000 times. But every show is a little bit different. You know, Kelly's going to say something a little bit different next time she comes. She's going to get something that kind of crazy. Everybody does something funny. There's new folks that come to the show, so it's always a new experience. But it's because of him and these guys that help make that possible. So I ask you the same question. If you could meet Elvis today, what one question would you ask him?
I would say thanks for all of the songs and the opportunities that inspired me, and I would just be grateful and humble, because he's a true talent. It was absolutely as raw as you could find anywhere, and there's never going to be another one. And I would live it out on the trip.
Everybody, Mike Pisano, give him a big hand. Thank you. Yeah. He looks the best holding that skirt of anyone.
You notice I'm holding it down real tight. Don't want y'all looking at my skirt.
Now, most of you know this is Tim Sales, our bass singer. And where are you originally from, Tim?
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. So he's from Thomasville now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when did you start singing? I know you were in a lot of gospel quartets and stuff.
Yeah, I guess when I first started singing was in church, probably whenever I was 8 or 9 years old. So, and that was in the choir. Yeah, that's a long time ago. A few years back.
Were they talking in sentences back then?
We used stone tablets to read the music.
Well, who inspired you to start singing? And because you sing outside of just singing bass, but if you just kind of elaborate, who inspired you to sing, and also your bass singing? Also
Every Sunday morning before we went to church or wherever, there was a show on called Gospel Singing Jubilee out of Nashville, Tennessee. Les Beasley and the Florida Boys were the host of it. And they would have some of the best quartets that you'd ever heard, the old Southern style quartets. And one Sunday morning, they had Hovey Lister and the Statesman Quartet on. And Big Chief was singing bass for him. And Big Chief just looked like he was having such a great time.
Well, Elvis got a lot of his moves from the Big Chief.
Big Chief, that's exactly right. And so I'd say Big Chief was probably my inspiration, but at that time I couldn't sing bass. I was the only male in the front row of the choir with all the sopranos.
Hence the poodle skirt.
Yeah. And I hated that. I hated it with a passion. And And so I would go home every day, and I would pull out old records of the Statesman, J.D. when he was with the Blackwoods, and I would strain my voice because I just got frustrated of standing in front with those girls. And when I was able to move back to the back row of the choir, that was celebration day.
And you're a big fan of J.D. Sumner too, right?
Big fan. Loved the man.
Now you were on tour with those guys.
I was on tour with them when I was singing with the quartets, different quartets, and I actually got to meet J.D. and he was a unique character. Great road stories that he could tell, and he was a big influence too.
Now, Kenny Rogers, how did that? I know that was kind of a surprise to most of you folks when he came out. He shed Sinatra, and here was Kenny Rogers. So what got that started?
Well, I'd always liked Kenny Rogers stuff because the country western. And when somebody said, you know, I think it was on the last cruise I was on, I had grown a little goatee and all that. And somebody came up and asked me if I was Kenny Rogers. I went back up to the room and looked in the mirror. And so I said, well, maybe this is a possibility. And so started doing that. But now let me say something in all honesty. Stephen Freeman has been my biggest inspiration. Yeah. And I know he's going to ask me this question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it now. Tell him we'll be right back with him. Tell him I'll sing the Gambler to him in a little bit. I was pretty depressed. I had had my heart attack and was not really doing a whole lot of anything. And one day I went to the post office and I was going through my divorce and everything. And old Hot Rod over here, tell him I called him back too. Is that Birdie? All right. Is it Birdie?
I'll check. Hang on.
Okay.
Just takes me a second.
Okay.
I'm all excited now.
I am too.
No, actually, it's my daughter Melissa. The Birdie will be calling in. So
Well, when Birdie calls, you let me know. I'm stopping. I'm talking to her.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
But I was at the post office, and I was really depressed. The kids, you know, weren't living with me, and didn't see them a whole lot. And Stephen was getting ready to do a show at the Davidson County Fair for the senior citizens. And he came up to me, he says, "Hey, old man." He said, "Are you doing anything now?" And I said, "Here and there." He said, "Well, how would you like to sing with me?" Well, Stephen had worked for me for a while. So I was kind of afraid what would happen, and sure enough, it did happen. But he said, "Well, look, I'm doing a show at the Davidson County Fair for the senior citizens," which, you know, kind of gave me the hint that he was going to take advantage of the old people. And so we went over there, and he says, "I'll bring a CD of what the show's going to be." It was the Christmas show at the Barn Dinner Theater. And he said, "Listen to it. If you're interested, call me back." And I said, "Well, it'll get me out of the house." And from that point on, I've been out of the house. And my daughter is happy. Yeah, she's clapping in the back there.
And he's looking for 4 strings, right?
I'm looking for 4 strings.
Well, Just a couple more quick ones. What's your favorite Elvis song to sing bass on?
Way down. Way down.
And last question, if you could meet Elvis, what would you say, or what question would you ask him?
Well, first of all, I would be like Mike and Michael. I would be in awe of the man. I would thank him for the creation of the music that he gave. I would thank him for bringing the gospel music to the forefront. Back when he brought in J.D. and the Stamps and the Imperials and all those other groups, gospel music was kind of on a downslide. And with Elvis, when he brought his gospel music in there, you listened. He made it very clear. You listened to what the song said. And I think the only thing I would want to ask him is, why did he make Stephen Freeman do what he did to me? In all honesty, you folks have become an extension of my family, just like you have everybody else. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I love you all.
I just want to say I appreciate them taking the time to come up here and speak with us. I hope you enjoyed it and appreciate it. So if you would give all these guys a big round of applause. Now God, you got a floppy skirt. What we're going to do now is do a few songs for you. Y'all want some music? Yeah. Well, I'll ask him to stay up here with me. He knows some of these songs. He can sing a little bass. Y'all go out there, you take your camera and